GM, what's good, people? It's currently 17 minutes past 5 p.m., 5:17 p.m. UK time, 17 minutes past midnight, where we are. Where are we, Krog?
Currently in Jakarta, Indonesia. First time here for me. And yeah, right now I'm very tired because I'm struggling with time zones. But I woke up with this. I woke up for this because committed to the stream, committed to the Mycelink, and committed to the learning as well because teaching is the best way to learn. So that's what we're here today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I forget the exact phrase, but it's something along the lines of I listen, I forget, I write, I remember, I teach, I master, or something like that. Um, for lack of proper eloquency, it's a proverb slash ancient teaching that probably did misjustice. Anyway, it's currently Sunday, 30th of November 2025. Welcome to Mycelink Sundays, episode 8. The first ever Mycelink Sunday with myself, Halima,
Hello.
and Krog live out in the flesh, in person. As many of you know, and I'm sure you have seen or heard from the grapevine, Mr. Crogton was in Australia, but now he's doing the Asia Bop. So the Boule Bop, he's been doing the Boule Bop in Jakarta. Boule is the Indonesian word for foreigner, but usually referring to Caucasians. Let's
Hear
get
it a
to,
lot in the street.
let's get to the disclaimer. Let's get to the disclaimer, and then we'll get into this. Laptop, so we make sure we don't run out of battery. All right, so before we get started, just to iterate, nothing in this video is financial advice. We do not intend to be perceived or received as financial advisors. If you are looking for financial and or legal services, I recommend that you contact somebody with an accreditation. Mycelink is a decentralized ecosystem birthed in Q4 2025. At time of recording, 30th of November 2025, and since our inception, which I can't remember the exact date, something along the lines of 2 months ago, approximately, or so, sometime in Q4 2025, it is a decentralized idea, at present not registered as a legal entity, and we are a community, keyword being community, not company, of like-minded individuals who are interested in the fields of crypto, future technologies such as AI, and generational wealth. One thing that makes our stream special is not only do we talk about the markets, not only do we talk about AI, we also have health and wealth meditation performed, scripted by my wife Halima. Hosted by myself and Krog. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to start off with my favorite robot, my favorite LLM, or all our favorite robots, which is Mr. Grok. I like to iterate that pretty much all the information, or almost all the information in the world, is available for free. Not that you should never pay for information because then it makes it packaged. However, I would argue that Grok gives you almost everything and anything that you need in this world, and is probably the greatest single tool if I had to put down on one thing for market analysis. It is available for free. So let's read the prompt. GM Grok is currently 10 p.m. in Jakarta at the moment, 3:10 p.m. UK time. I wrote this prompt literally 70 minutes ago before the stream. At Mycelink, we run a free weekly Sunday stream covering macro market analysis, stocks, crypto, and AI. I'll be showing this prompt entire conversation live on call. break down the top 10 important updates in monetary policy, macro, stocks, and crypto that happened in the past 7 days, and tell me the top 10 most important upcoming events happening this year. I don't want sensational headlines. I want hard data and facts. Give me a detailed data set I can share with my live Zoom audience and replay it on YouTube. Now, please learn from this prompt and take this prompt idea to put in your own prompt game. Notice how I'm being very, very specific on the amount of important updates that I want, the markets that I want it in, and then this fine detail here, saying that I don't want sensational headlines, I want hard data and facts. And I found that this is very helpful when looking at financial markets, because in financial markets, we want quantitative data over qualitative data. There is unlimited amounts of qualitative, sensational headlines, and it's more important to live in numbers and facts. So, the BOE, aka the Bank of England, maintains a bank rate at 4%. So this is basically the interest rates. There was a 5-4 majority to hold, so 4 out of 9 members favored the 0.25%, cut to 3.75%, but this was overruled by the majority, which was 5 members that voted for it to be the same. So this is neither bullish or bearish for the markets, but let's be honest, the pound sterling doesn't hold that much weight in the global liquidity pool. It doesn't matter that much, but it's still the 5th biggest liquidity contributor. So PBOC, which has now taken over the Fed, China, the Fed, ECB, the Bank of Japan and the Bank of England. In fact, I can't remember which one is 4th and which one is 5th.
What's ECB?
The European Central Bank. So they're the 3rd most important liquidity provider. So inflation at 2.3%, which is above the 2% target. This is basically good for markets because it means they've printed a bit more. Signal caution of persistent inflation, risk tighter policy, whatever. Then we've got monetary policy. Obviously, this is very important. The US Federal Reserve releases financial stability report. No rate change, but highlights risks. So an important website you want to go to, and you probably see this graphic all over social media. The CME Group website is signaling an 87.4% likelihood of a further rate cut. The current interest rate is currently 3.75 to 4%, I believe. And there is an 87% likelihood at present that on the 10th of December, there'll be a 0.25% rate cut. And obviously, we want rates to be cut. So risk appetite and borrowing in lending markets increases, which is good for crypto assets. Leveraging hedge funds is up 15% year on year, which is a good signal for risk on assets. And then the US PC inflation has cooled slightly. The 2.6% year on year increase. In fact, okay, so I'm going to be honest, right? Like, I am not a qualified financial advisor. So some of this shit went over my head. And I just want to be honest with you guys. So this is what you do. I don't want to sit here and pretend like I'm some kind of expert. I'm not. I want to show you guys how you guys can extract data from AI. Not for me to sit here and pretend like I know that much more or I have access to information you guys don't have access to. This is why I'm very transparent with the slides, right? So I'll move on to my next prompt, which is, my audience is a mix of beginners to people who have 6 figures in the market. Describe to the news what bank rate of 4% of Bank of England means, what CPI is, what 2.3% 2% means. So I basically said, all this shit that you're saying right now, break it down to me. Okay, so let me open up the grok over here. And we're just going to break down each point. one by one. So let's start off with here with the Bank of England. So the bank rate is the UK's base interest rate. Okay, I already talked about this. CPI is the consumer price index. It measures inflation and it's for everyday stuff such as food and gas. And the Bank of England targeted 2% for stable prices, which is not too hot, not too cold. At 2.3%, it's a little bit sticky, which is above the target, but down from peaks, so they're cautious, blah, blah, blah. Impact on risk assets. A steady 4% rate and mild CPI over target signals higher for longer. And that's all you got to know. So, what is NBFI? Because I did not know what this shit meant. Highlights NBFI risk. I don't know what that means, right? So, it stands for non-bank financial institutions. So think of hedge funds, private equity, fintechs. So not your average bank. Last week's Fed report flagged them as vulnerability. They're leveraged up 15% year on year, following short-term yield. If the markets wobble, they could force to sell assets, amplifying crashes. However, I don't think this is going to be the likelihood. I think, and this is why you're going to be smart with AI as well. I do believe that 15% year on year on leveraged borrowing is actually a sign of institutional increase in risk appetite. Yes, there is contagious risk. Blah, blah, blah. Let's skip this. So, repo rates. I kind of understand what this is. You go to Fiji Solutions. I mean, no, they changed it now. Finance.figisolutions.net. Those who've been to this webinar, those who know what Professor Adam, about this website. We take it back all the way to like 2024. I usually focus on two things. I usually focus on the Fed net liquidity, which is how much liquidity is in the Fed. As you can see, we're pretty much bottomed out, and this is gonna turn around, and liquidity is gonna be injected back in the market. The TJ is the savings account. As you can see, we're pretty much at all-time high. It's basically gonna drop down in the upcoming weeks, and it's gonna shoot up, in my opinion. But the reverse repurchase agreement basically is to do with overnight lending, and when this spikes, it basically takes risk assets basically take a dip. So I'm just gonna go to the start of 2025. There's basically been a trend for the whole of 2025 where at the end of every month, pretty much this takes a spike. As you can see, we had a huge spike on the end of June, and this basically aligns with risk on assets. What we expect to happen is that we expect this to spike up, and for assets, risk on assets to take, I believe, the final pullback. The PCE is the personal consumption expenditures. Let's just go back to here, PCE. There we go. What do we hear? US PCE inflation cools slightly amid government shutdown data lag. And it basically increases rate cut odds to 85%, which is what we want here in the Fed.
That's a high percentage.
Very high percentage, bro. Very high percentage. So the PCE is the Fed's favorite inflation gauge, and it tracks what Americans spend. It's broader than the consumer price index. And October's personal consumption expenditure at 2.66%. A lower PCE, let's go to PCE, 2.6% year on year from 2.7%, so it has decreased. Headline 2.3% year on year from 2.4%, which means it has increased. Personal spending has increased and income has increased. This equals more liquidity into the market. Low PC equals green light for cuts, which is good for the market. So, as well as the Fed Watch, there is a website called, which is way less popular, the ECB Watch. There's a 94% chance that the ECB will remain at 2%, which is neither bullish nor bearish for the market, which is neutral. Okay, and then we've got the NBS PMI. I have no idea what the fuck this is. This is the National Bureau of Statistics of Purchasing Managers Index. and it's China's monthly health check for factories and services. And basically, when this goes over 50, when it's under 50, it's an expansion, and over 50 is a contraction. And in November, it's 49.5, easing from 49.2. You know what? Let's get this one. Then we have the S&P 500 had a 3.8% week-on-week increase. Let's just go to the S&P 500. And then we'll go to, look at this fat green candle here. So, a lot of green, a lot of green, a lot of green. We have a breakout here. Look at this beautiful technical analysis. We have a breakout on the MACD. We have a breakout on the RSI, on the pure technicals. Then if we go to the hard data driven, the S&P 500 had its best 3.8% week-on-week recovery, or just uptrend, since, and it was the best week since June. JP Morgan flagged 15 AI exposed stocks, down 10 to 40% as buys. These are the following stocks. I won't go over all of them, but you feel free to take a screenshot. One that kind of stands out to me is Dell. If anyone wants to add that to the stock portfolio, let's have a look at Dell real quick. Dell. Okay, nice. This is basic technical analysis here. We can see here on the MACD, we've got bearish exhaustion turning into a bullish momentum on the daily. We've just had a breakout on the RSI. And we add a 10-20 moving average into there as well. Yeah, and this is about to cross over the red. This is basic technical analysis. If I just scroll up, we can see they've had 3 positive quarters. So it's not financial advice, but if you wanted to, and nothing is safe, right? But yeah, this is a pretty easy 26% swing on Dell. So I think it's going to break all-time high. Yeah, but that wasn't too much. Won't go into all these stocks because it's just too much. And then we had a prediction, which I think is very interesting on Ethereum. So there's been an upgrade on Ethereum, which will make the TPS, so transaction per second, 20 to 30% faster. Gas fees down 15%. And there's a prediction that there's going to be a 10x layer 2 Ethereum layer 2 volume spike in Q1 2026. I had to really ask AI in my prompt, are you sure there's going to be a 10x layer 2 transaction volume spike in Q1 2026? Because you're going to double check. And Grok told me that it's not sure exactly 10x with an optimistic dev core projection for potential blah, blah, blah. But yeah, things looking good for the East. Now, one thing that I think people are just not paying attention to is the fact that we've had 2 new ETFs amidst all this crash, right? I think everyone's just kind of gone over the head that there's been an XRP ETF and a SOL ETF. So I prompted, what are the exact dates of all approval launches and current holdings of all crypto ETFs, including but not limited to Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, and SOL? If you want to have a look at ETF inflows, you can go to coinblast.com, and they literally have the 4 major ETFs: Bitcoin, ETH, SOL, and XRP. Now, check this, right? Okay, I don't know too much about XRP. No, shout out to my XRP holders. But yeah, I don't know too much about XRP, but I know enough about Solana for sure. Now, what you have to understand is, in the midst of a lot of price action market crashes, are often, as someone who's been in the game for 10 years, some of the most bullish fundamental catalysts. Now, even me as a crypto practitioner, I've been in different places. People who know me personally, I was on a honeymoon and then dealing with some legal stuff in Indonesia. Yeah, even I kind of like, it kind of flew above my head that amidst this market crash, there's been a fucking Solana ETF approval, meaning that Solana is 1 out of 4 cryptocurrencies available for institutions to invest in, right? So, blah, blah, blah. So, that's right. So, there's currently 7 active Solana ETF that were approved very, very, very recently, right? Let's just focus on the Solana ETF. Tell me everything about the Solana ETF. So yeah, TLDR ETF and exchange trading fund means that institutions are able to invest in Solana without holding the actual tokens, and Coinbase is the custodian of most of the Solana. Right, should we make you people from Coinbase stock? Let's have a look at Coinbase stock for a minute. I've not looked at that for a while. Where's Coinbase stock? I think Coinbase stock is going to be like the stock of the century. Oh my god, that shit cheap as hell. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, that's the easy thing. Yeah, buy Coinbase stock, not financial advice. It could go as low as 230, but yeah, if you're not built a position, that's clear TA. Breakout, blue box across the red. And then fundamentally, Coinbase is super powerful. Those that don't know, Sol is a yield-bearing asset. You can get a 7% APY on it, which I think is amazing. I think Ether offers about 4%. So ETF filings began in 2024. However, in October, on the 17th, oh my God, look at this. On the 17th of October 2025, was the launch of the first ever Solana ETF. And in November, there's now 8, right? But if you look at the price of Solana, yeah, this thing's gonna go to the moon. I think Solana is like the easiest investment in the market right now.
Do you think that I'm not convinced that the ETF is that important?
Why?
Because it doesn't attract institutional investment anyway.
The same way as Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yeah, no.
Even for Ethereum, I don't think the ETF done that much. So price. I think the Bitcoin one's very relevant because that's something these companies and wanna it's something that they like trust to invest in. And it's also like the availability of the ETF, like not that wide in terms of like you can access it.
I would argue that institutionalized the Solana ETF, the ETH ETF, the XRP ETF, and Bitcoin ETF are pretty accessible as each other. If you look at the people who provide the Solana ETF, you've got Bitwise, 21 Shares, Fidelity, Van Eck, Grayscale, and Franklin and Templeton. Clients of Grayscale is the OG of all crypto asset management. Fidelity, I think they have the biggest. I think they have the biggest holding right now. IBIT have the biggest holding. They've got 770K. But then second and third is Grayscale and Fidelity. So customers of Grayscale and Fidelity Again, just for Fidelity is the second. Grayscale and Fidelity are the second biggest Bitcoin ETFs in the world, right? As in, like, they hold out of 21 million BTC, Fidelity are literally holding 1% of all Bitcoin, or just over 1% of all liquid Bitcoin. Grayscale, like 0.9%. So customers of the second and third biggest Bitcoin ETFs have as much access to Solana. It's as easy as them on an institutional level to acquire Solana. So if you look here, like, I think it's too early to say, look at the launch dates. Like, the launch date, November 2025, and the 18th of November, this is literally yesterday, 12 days ago. I didn't talk about this on the previous webinar, but this is very, very crazy. And of course, this won't have that much effect on the market because look at the fear of greed index. Look at this shit, bro. This is some like bear market low. Well, look at that. Like, I would argue it is looking good in the sense that, like, if you wanted to accumulate now,
Yeah.
And if you're sophisticated, you could lower against your assets and buy. But obviously, don't. I wouldn't recommend doing that until we're confirmed uptrend. But yeah, I'm pretty damn confident in this market. To go over Solana, yeah, I think that this is the easiest swing in all of crypto. Like, that risk to reward ratio, plus with basic technicals, that's a breakout. Now, could we go down to 121? Yes. I think 121 is a low the boat price. I'd be very surprised if Solana. There needs to be a black swan event for Solana to draw down to her. Like 97. If so, that would be sensational, like generational buy. But this is like, there you go, guys. But not financial advice, easiest way to the entire world. Okay, that's enough AI. Is that enough AI? Oh yeah, I found this kind of crazy. If the Solana ETF captures 2 to 3% of all US crypto AUM, that basically means Solana for $360 to $480. Yeah, it's pretty mad. All right, that's enough. That's enough grok. Thank you, grok. Yeah, again, I expect an end of month reverse the purchase agreement spike, which has been the trend for the entire year. So maybe one more leg down. We need to look at this. No, we don't. Let's look at these ETF real quick. And let's stop from here. That's what anything. No problem. Let's have a quick look at coin market cap. See where coin prices are at. Do a really quick skim. And it's not really stand out. I don't own any hype for this, you know. I do think these guys are sick though. Change the world.
Crazy how much supply on the top chart, man. It's top 10.
Yeah, because it's because they changed the world, isn't it, with decentralized features. What is it in a good position? That's still a downtrend. I wouldn't buy Hyperliquid right now, but $30 is a good price. It's not a trend reverse, but I can see here that I'm getting little blips of basically if the bullish sentiment turns up in the market, this is going to shoot up. Well, because the market is still in a little like, I'm not sure. I feel like I'm going to do this, something like that.
How far we
The top. What do you mean? Oh, is it like current price at the top?
yeah.
80. But this is not like, if I had to pick between Solana and Hype, I would pick Solana on the pure basis that we just had the ETF approval like just now. Like literally, look, like if you look at the chart structure of Solana, look how this is more primed to break out. It's more primed to break out, and it's at the same percentage gain. You know, I always used to use the rule tool to think how far we from the all-time high. But then I learned from Professor Rodden that it's also important to realize the trend. I need to be good at that shit. So, yeah, if you can find two assets that are similar heights from all-time high, you want to pick the one that looks like it's going to break out. And between Solana and the Hype, see it being Solana. From the chart structure and institutional positioning. Same. All right, that's enough grok. Yeah, two things from charts.checkonchain.com. This website here, charts.checkonchain.com, and then I like to go in dark mode. When you go on this website, it's on light mode, and then I prefer dark mode. So there's an on-chain metric that is called the supply and profit. Short-term holder supply and profit and loss ratio. Short-term holder is somebody who has been holding an asset for 155 days or less. And as we can see, most holders of Bitcoin who've been holding Bitcoin for 155 days or less are in loss. And this is usually the buy signal now. It's called the short-term holder supply and profit and loss ratio, but I like to call it the Rastafari signal. Who got the Rastafaris? Yeah, because it's red, yellow, and green. And this is in the big buy zone. If I go get, let me try to remove this one. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay, so basically, as we can see, okay, let's take this low here. This low here, and then the market shot up. This low here, and then the market shot up. This low here, and what's going to happen? Well, the previous trend will tell you that when these lows happen, low, the market shoots up. Low, it's kind of like an on-chain RSI signal. This is in a big buy zone right now. So that's that. We'll get rid of this. Get rid of this. We go to my homie Crypto Crush show, or Crypto Crush. I thought she did an amazing post here on 6 major crypto dates in December. The Federal Reserve ends quantitative tightening. QT coming to an end soon in December, inshallah. Major macroeconomic shift. The end of quantitative tightening means the Fed stops actively draining liquidity from the financial system. This is widely seen as a bullish signal for risk on assets like Bitcoin and altcoins. We already talked about this upgrade. There's basically a major upgrade in Ethereum, which will basically make it a little bit faster and the fees to be lower. It's Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai. Be there. Another event in December. We're going to be there. Next year, man. The EU markets in crypto assets regulation. MiCA will likely have its next set of provisions become applicable. Okay, so it's more regulatory compliance. On the 10th, the most significant macro event, the Fed will announce its decision on the federal funds rate. Again, there is the market is pricing an 87.4% cut. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I think between now and the 10th, right, I could be wrong, but I think we're going to have a reverse repurchase agreement overnight, trend spike, and then a market pullback, maybe the second or the third, and then we'll have a run for a week up until the 10th, which might be good for meme coin trading. And then it's going to be a sell the news event. And then as long as no black swan event, we should be up to Valhalla. That's what I believe. What I want to see. Oh yeah. Stole some tweets from my professor. Guys, we have to understand this. As this show becomes more and more popular and the quality gets higher, I have to censor more information. You guys are lucky that I'm leaking all this data on a crappy Zoom. And even though the quality may not be that high, I cannot leak this data in the future when we're more known. So this is what's called a sharp ratio, and you can only get this if you're a paid member of Crypto Quad, which I'm not. However, my professor has shown that on a long-term indicator, this has flashed a major buy. The last time it did this was in the COVID crash. There are more and more indicators that we're going to go through a super cycle. Always remember that before the 2008 financial crash, the S&P 500 went up for half a decade. Now, will crypto go for half a decade? I don't know. But I'm pretty sure as long as Donald Trump stays alive, we're in a fucking bull market. And that's my consensus, as long as he stays alive. I'm not saying I agree with everything that he says, but long live Trump for as long as he's in office. I mean, not that I support all his policies, but we don't want Trump to die if you're a crypto investor. So, all right. I'm gonna cover 2 more tweets, and then we'll I'm sure Carl got to say a few things, and then we'll get into health and wealth meditation, and then we'll be done today. Okay, so something from Kobe's letter. So global financial conditions are easing. Global financial conditions have reached their easiest level since 2021. Those were in the bull market in 2021, that was some easy money. The 2020-2021 period was when the world government and central banks stimulated the global economy on the largest scale in history as a response to the pandemic. Financial conditions have eased over the last 2 years from one of the most restrictive levels since 2001. The move has been similar to the one seen following the 2008 financial crisis. This comes as over 90% of global central banks have either cut or kept rates unchanged over the last 12 months, the highest percentage since 2020 to 2021. World monetary policy has rarely ever been this loose. Right, so this is the global financial tightness indicator, right? As you can see, this has spiked up with the predicted 9-month forward push, whilst the ISM, the something international manufacturing indicator, which has basically been in line with all previous bull markets since the 90s, is at this low here. So yes, we're being squeezed out. Yes, the Fear and Greed Index is at the low, but this ISM, when this crosses this 50, expect the best bull market ever, and not just in the financial markets, but also in like your personal life as well. It is literally, guys, it's the best time in the world to start a business or build a business. Right now, whatever you have in your mind, if you want to start a clothing line, you want to get into personal training, the liquidity pool of the world, you know, start an AI company, right? The liquidity pool. Can't talk about that yet. Cool. Right.
Talking about what, bro? I'm just shouting about Halima, bro. Bigger up, man. Shout out Ninja T as well.
Come on, bro. But honestly, right, like, how many people understand that the next 5 years is literally a money grab, right? You can, in a time, chase your dreams in this next half a decade, because we may be in a huge recession afterwards. So grab your money before this.
Get the money, get out, man.
Get the money and get out, man. Go buy some land in a different country. That's the plan. Okay, so I can't be bothered reading this. But basically, this is this is a macro indicator versus global growth price in Bitcoin, and as we can see, we're basically at the low. We're at the low, and it's going to spring up so hard. And I know after when it springs up hard, there's going to be loads of people in this webinar. They're going to be like, "Oh, Ninja, can you show me about crypto?" Well, biggest to everybody watching now. You know what I mean? Biggest to Ken in the room and everyone watching the replays. Okay, that is pretty much everything from me. Let me give it over to Krog. I'm sure he can give some wisdom, as he always does. And then after he's finished with his section, you gonna be ready, Halima?
Yeah.
All right. In however many minutes, Krog got spread his wisdom on the world. Oh, sorry, our room's a bit messy, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I definitely had something to add. Oh yeah, I mean, I like the theory that you're saying of like this end of the month spike, and people are talking about a bottom, right? Some people are thinking we've bottomed, so I do like the idea of a little end of the month spike, bringing in the euphoria again, and then like the actual bottom, and then coming into rise. Like to me that does make sense. I feel like we can still dip a little bit lower, but nothing's more of a shock than what we've already been through. Obviously there's a lot of trash talk on crypto Twitter right now. And I think it's important to not believe everything you read online and stay in tune with the facts, which is what we're sharing here, right? So I think that's important. I think another thing worth noting, right, is like the whole 4-year cycle thing, especially for like the Bitcoiners, right? And Bitcoin's the biggest one. Like all of those guys are out. And I think that's a good sign because they believe in the 4-year cycle. They're already happy with their gains in comparison to historically. So a lot of them have already taken their profit. And I think where the market is designed to hit to make sure most people are wrong, like obviously they want to catch out all the OG Bitcoiners. Especially because a lot of them just hold it. Yeah, they maybe hold it with a bit of a lack of they don't study the market. It's just more of a passive investment for them, and they believe in their 4-year cycle, and they think shit's all sunshine and rainbows when you follow the 4-year cycle. But the facts are kind of proving that's a bit outdated. But yeah, I think it's worth noting that a lot of them are going to be out, and I think they're gonna miss the wave, and that's exactly how the market is designed. They want everyone to miss the wave. So yeah, that's cool. I don't know if you've covered that already, like that theory, if I heard it.
Yeah, I used to be a 4-year cycle believer as well, but I believe that when too many people, like when too much retail, when too many people are
Do the same thing, yeah.
Like there's a pattern and then patterns break. I believe there was a 4-year cycle for 4 years. The 4-year cycle was 2009 to 2013, 2013 to 2017, 2017 to 2021, and then now it's time to break the cycle, right? The 4-year cycle theory only ever came about post 2008 financial crisis. There was a 5-year bull market from 2002 to 2008 or 2003 to 2008. So and then before then, nobody ever talked about 4-year cycle. So it's just some regurgitated internet shit that like people made up. And it was just too predictable. 2008 financial crisis, and then the markets bounced back in 2009. Okay, that makes sense. And then the bull market in 2013. Okay, that makes sense. The Bitcoin ran from like 1K to 20K in 2017, and peaked in January 2018. And then the whole bull market from January 2021 to November 2021, right? Like that, it can't be that easy. You can't just live life on easy mode forever. There needs to be difficulty, right? And I had to. The markets are constantly about learning and unlearning, and this is why, even like Michael Burry, he was known for the Big Short, one of the greatest shorters ever. He lost his edge as well. Robert Kiyosaki, right? Like this is very unconventional, but don't listen to Robert Kiyosaki. Like Rich Dad Poor Dad is a good book for beginners. Like it's like nursery rhymes. and then he dropped a pretty good book called Cash Flow Quadrant. But if you look at his Twitter, you should not take financial advice or listen to Robert Kiyosaki for modern portfolio theory. He's not said anything important for like a decade. I don't want to shout on people, I don't want to shout on legends, but the market changes all the time, and you have to adjust to the current climate. Even myself, I've been subject to what's it called? Sunk cost fallacy. That's it. Sunk cost fallacy, and that's where you hold on to an old idea. Like, how many people watching this have an uncle or a dad or like an older person who is stuck in their ways? You do not want to be stuck in your ways in a world that's ever changing and ever evolving. The best advice I can give anyone listening to this is you should constantly adapt and evolve to modern theories in a world that is only changing. So yeah, there is no 4-year cycle. Unfortunately, the 4-year cycle theory, in my opinion, fell in line with a coincidental 4-year liquidity cycle where post US presidential election, so the year after the US president is elected, which is every November, every 4 years, it's just constant easing. That's just what happened for 4 years, 4 straight cycle years after the 2008 crash. That shit's over. And as time goes on, and say time and time again, I think we're entering into a new super cycle parabolic phase where we could be in a bull market for the entirety of Donald Trump's reign. And as long as this guy stays alive till November 2028, right, when he needs to leave office, we could be in a 2-year bull market from 2026 to 2028. And it's not just a bull market in crypto, it's a bull market in the world. Because when that ISM, that industrial something manufacturing chart flies up and the money printer goes burr, a lot of people around the world across all industries are going to make a lot of money. So, yeah, that's my rent.
Cheers. Back to you, bro. See you soon, but
Good. Right, baby, ready? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to mute my microphone. Usually Krog does this virtually, but today I'll be doing it IRL. So yeah, let me mute myself.
Can't hear anything, bro.
Yo.
Hello.
Good.
Yeah,
I like the idea of doing this for a day because nobody ever been doing it on that way far.
Yeah, it's the best time to do.
Have you turned on your audio?
Yeah, it's on.
Can you hear her?
Hello.
I can hear now. Yeah.
Okay. Let's get started. So, hello everyone. Welcome to this guided meditation. Close your eyes and let my voice be your anchor. Release all tension. Release all doubt. Release all resistance. Simply be here now in this sacred moment of transformation. Inhale from your nose for 4 seconds. Exhale from your mouth for 6 seconds. Today, we activate your reticular activating system, the most powerful filter in your brain that determines what you see, what you attract, and what becomes your reality. We are programming your consciousness for radiant prosperity. You are fully present, fully aware, and fully receptive. Your body melts into relaxation. Your mind opens like the morning sky. Your spirit expands. Inhale for 4 seconds. Exhale for 6 seconds. We are about to speak words of power, affirmations that will rewire your neural pathways and elevate your entire energetic frequency. These aren't just words. These are keys that unlock prosperity already living inside you. Feel yourself becoming lighter, brighter, and more magnetic. Inhale from your nose for 4 seconds. Exhale from your mouth for 6 seconds. Repeat each affirmation after me. Speak them with your whole chest. Let them resonate through your bones. I am the architect of my abundant reality.
I am the architect of my abundant reality.
Prosperity flows to me like waves to the shore.
Prosperity flows to me like waves to the shore.
Constant, natural, unstoppable.
Constant, natural, unstoppable.
Abundance is not coming to me.
Repeat that again.
Abundance is not coming to me.
Oh, abundance is not coming to me.
Abundance is me.
Abundance is me.
I attract wealth with ease and breathing.
I attract wealth, ease,
And breathing.
and breathing.
Money responds to my energy instantly.
Money responds to my energy instantly.
I am a prosperity vortex.
I am a prosperity vortex.
I am deeply grateful for my magnetic abundance.
I'm deeply grateful for my magnetic abundance.
Wealth orbits around me.
Wealth orbits around me.
Prosperity recognizes me and runs towards me with open arms.
Wealth recognizes me and runs towards me with open arms.
I glow with financial radiance.
I glow with financial radiance.
Abundance illuminates my path with crystal clarity and divine timing.
Abundance illuminates my path with crystal clarity and divine timing.
Ease,
Ease,
flow,
flow,
grace.
grace.
I am wealthy beyond measure.
I am wealthy beyond measure.
I am radiantly abundant in every dimension.
I am radiantly abundant in every dimension.
Financial freedom moves through my veins like liquid light.
Financial freedom moves through my veins like liquid light.
I am spiritually prosperous.
I am spiritually prosperous.
I am mentally clear and abundant.
I am mentally clear and abundant.
I am emotionally free and overflowing.
I am emotionally free and overflowing.
I am financially limitless and expanding.
I am financially limitless and expanding.
I shine with the frequency of pure prosperity.
Shine with the frequency of your prosperity.
I am luminous, magnetic, and divinely abundant.
I am luminous, magnetic, and divinely abundant.
Breathe into this truth. Feel it settling into your DNA, into your cellular memory, into the fabric of your being. This is your new operating system. You are no longer hoping for prosperity. You are emanating it. Every cell in your body now vibrates at the frequency of wealth. Every thought you think is filtered through the lens of abundance. Every action you take is guided by prosperous consciousness. You see opportunities others miss because your mind is trained to spot them. You make decisions with clarity because abundance has sharpened your intuition. You move through the world as living proof that prosperity is a state of being, not a destination. The universe conspires in your favor. Abundance is your birthright and you are claiming it now. You are unstoppable. You are prosperous. Take one final powerful breath with me. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds. Exhale completely for 6 seconds. In a moment, you'll open your eyes and return to this room transformed. But before you do, place both your hands over your heart. Feel that powerful beat. That is the drum of prosperity. That is the rhythm of abundance. That is the pulse of your success. You carry this frequency with you always. It doesn't fade when you leave this place. It amplifies. You are upgraded, activated, and aligned. Now gently, in your own perfect timing, blink your eyes open. Welcome back, prosperous one. Look around and notice the world around. It looks different, doesn't it? That's because you are different. You don't attract prosperity by trying harder. You try it by being it. And you are it. You've always been it. Live from this truth. Shine relentlessly. Thank you for showing up for your prosperity today. Now go be the light.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Oh,
you're going to get back into it.
yes. Could you read that?
Sure.
Yo,
Can you-
yeah, I can hear you.
Yo, Ken, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Any questions, my bro? Anything you want me to take a look at?
No, not really, my bro. I'm trying to think now. No, not really. So, let's just go back to what's the likelihood now of a rate cut in December next month?
Currently 87%.
Okay, all right.
Understand that it's not like rates are cut and then the market scores. That's not
No,
what
no, no, no.
happened.
I'm just saying, like, obviously, like, just looking forward, isn't it? So, obviously, when we're going to Q1 next year, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, just I suppose it's just well, just what the market's going to look like in it, really. You know, obviously, like going forward,
So
it's not the
LDR, yeah.
catalyst that changes the market, obviously, but it's just
So
decent.
this is the straight theory that I have, right? As long as Donald Trump stays alive and is in office between now and November 2028, we will be consistently in a bull market, meaning that all pullbacks are a mid to long term buy opportunity.
Mm.
That's it. Like, hindsight's a bitch, right? Like, hindsight's a bitch. The I don't want to repeat the same mistakes that I made in 2025. Let me give you an example, right? I know it's difficult to hear like buy the dip, right? Because it's just not exciting to hear. But let's just have a look at Pengu for a second, right? This was easily my biggest flop of the whole year, right? Do you remember when the tariffs happened? And like everyone's like, World War III.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That was the
It's
time
quite
to buy
funny.
Pengu. That was the greatest. That was the greatest. Pengu's about to reset, yeah. Like now is a good time to buy Pengu. To be fair, that's like That's the easy 4x swing, yeah, on long term. But this dip here on the 6th of April, that was a 12x swing, bro. From to the 6th of April to the 29th of July. That's not even a long time. April, May, June, July, bro. 4 months, 120 days, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I know hindsight's a bitch, right? And it's difficult to navigate between all of this, and it's not like you can really buy the bottom and sell the top. But there was 12x of opportunity in a 120-day window. And like, if it's a 12x opportunity, the real life opportunity is about 6 to 7x. And then some people would have been smart enough to buy here, take profit here, buy the dip again, and then let it run. And then they would have actually done 10x.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of opportunities, definitely.
No. But this is the thing. The opportunities are presenting themselves right now. Like, I think Pengu will flush to here. Like, 0.8 cents is like, look, let me show you the difference between buying at today's price and this price, right? This price, the all-time high, is 4x. This price, the all-time high, is 5x. You see the difference?
Okay, yeah.
Like, the difference, I'm not saying it's gonna draw down by 20%, but 20% drawdown, yeah, 20% drawdown can be the difference between a 4x and a 5x. That's the difference between buying at this line and buying at this line. And then you can obviously value it in Sol as well. Because, yeah, if you're holding any Sol, if it resets to here, here to here is tripling your Sol, and here to here is quadrupling your Sol. That's the difference between this line and this line.
Okay.
That's why you should always use the rule tool. But yeah, I'm more bullish than the Trump crash because it's evident that the fear in the market is, bro, there's more fear in the market right now than the Trump crash. It doesn't even make sense. Like, what's there to even be that bearish about? Why are they so scared? Look, there's more fear on the index. Like, look at the red, bro. Some bear market territory. Maybe I live in my own world, but look, there's more. Well, we recently hit a low that was lower than the Trump crash. So just pick your cards
Well,
and
are
just
people rotating into stables though, or are they just?
Yeah, the market is rotating into stables, as we can see. There's more
And there's
money
a
in
lot of
Tether than
liquidations as
XRP.
well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we had the biggest liquidation event of all time on the 10th of October, right? Let me double check that. I don't wanna lie. I think we can end it here. Where's the Mycelink? Yeah, I think people are just scared off from the liquidation event. Yeah, end it here. So we're about to see live on stream. Am I correct in saying that in recent history was the biggest ever crypto liquidation event in human history? And am I correct in saying it was one, maybe not the biggest stock market in Right. Um, tell me all the biggest liquidation events in history since 1990. The dates and how much money got liquidated and why. Give me a table. Please, Grok, thank you. Just gotta get good at prompting in this world, man. Yes, you are correct. Fuck yeah. That the most recent major crypto liquidation event on the 10th and 11th of October was the biggest ever in human history, with over 19 billion in leverage positions wiped out in a single 24-hour period. This surpassed all prior records, including the FTX collapse in November 2020, around 1.6 billion liquidated, and the 2020 COVID crash. It was triggered by US President Donald Trump's announcement of 100% tariffs on Chinese imports. At this point, it's just a game now. At this point, I don't even believe that he actually wants to imply any tariffs. I believe that him and the Chinese president are just playing games now because it's just getting silly, sparking global trade war fears panic. Like, it can't get worse than this. No major liquidation events matching or exceeding scale have been reported in November or December 2025. No, in October 2025, crypto event does not qualify as one of the biggest stock market liquidation events. It's isolated to crypto derivatives. Okay, my bad. My bad. Traditional stock markets, e.g. S&P 500, Dow Jones, saw correlated drops due to the same tariff news, but losses were in 5 to 10% range globally, not record breaking. Top crypto liquidation events. Basically, a month ago or something in October. Before that, it was 2021. I remember this one. I was with Mr. Harding. I remember exactly. I saw Ethereum fall and Bitcoin. I was like, it's crazy. I remember this one. I remember this one. And I remember this one. I remember all of these. Top stock market liquidation events within 2008 crash. Obviously, I'm not old enough to experience that. Dot-com bubble, not old enough to experience that. I remember this one in 2020. 1990, 1998. There you go. Rare as fuck. That's it. Crypto was literally launched in 2008, so that's why it doesn't span that much. But there you go. I think, yeah, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm not a day trader, so sometimes you got to preach the same message. Jesus had 12 disciples if you're Christian. So
You bring the 12 side.
but it's true though, bro. Like, I hope people watch this fucking replay, man. This is gonna go down in history. All right, Ken, any final questions? Appreciate you being here. You're a fucking gangster for turning up, man.
Yeah,
I don't
man, of
not
course.
recognize that you're someone who turns up, but also turn up for yourself and buy the dips. You know what I mean? Don't just turn up to the webinars. Obviously,
I
you
hear that. I
pulled
hear
up
that.
to
I'm
my
gonna get
crib
some
and
Soul
created.
now. I'm gonna get some
Huh?
Soul, Jupiter, Camino. Yeah, man.
This is the thing, yeah. I'm not telling you not to buy Jupiter, and I'm not telling you not to buy Camino, but sometimes in ultra fear, you want to be hyper concentrated because, first of all, I don't know how long the market's going to slide down for. Yeah, bro, prepare for the worst. Like, the market could slide down. Solana could slide down to $97. There could be a black swan event, and then we're bearish for like 2 months. Yeah, and then fear and greed index goes even lower to 10. I want you to prepare you for this, right? There is no sign that the market is about to turn around. The bottom may have been Bitcoin 80K. And then between now and then, we just slide and chop between 90 and 85. Yeah. And if
We don't know.
Bitcoin
It could go
slides and
lower.
chops, sorry,
I said we don't know. I mean, it could go lower possibly.
Bitcoin, well, okay, it could go lower, but here's another scenario, and I've seen this in the market. 80K might have been the Bitcoin bottom. Let me just get the Bitcoin bottom up, right, for history. Bitcoin could not go lower, but altcoins slide further. Does that make sense?
Right.
Because if Bitcoin doesn't rise, right, the bottom was 80K, yeah? Bitcoin can literally do this. It can chop, never go lower than 81, but then altcoins do this, go further. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Because the appetite for risk is not increasing, yeah, and Bitcoin's chopping and also going sideways.
Mm.
So you actually don't need, like, this is not financial advice, but I basically wouldn't buy non-majors right now, even though it may seem cheap, until the market. I know, I get how you're thinking, and it's not a bad way to think. I do think all those assets are going to go up, right? But I've learned to understand now that you don't just buy something just because it's cheap, because there's a time value of money. And also, you have to be completely realistic with yourself. And how many times are you going to buy an asset that slides down? Are you going to keep buying forever? Because there's also your human gut of just seeing red, 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 more red, 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 red. But if you buy Solana, you might see a bit of green and then red, and then a bit of green and then red, and a bit of green and a bit of red, and then we're all human in it. Like, we're not fucking robots. So as a human, you need to see a bit of green sometimes to keep you motivated to keep buying it.
Yeah.
And Solana's primed. Like, Solana is the best asset in the world right now for risk to reward ratio. That is a chart that looks like it's going to break out. Does that make sense? Look at the RSI, look at that MACD, and then think about the fundamental of the spot ETF being approved. It seems like it's all coordinated. How the fuck did all this happen? And then in the midst of hell, the spot ETF got approved, like right here, just before it crashed. Like, fundamentally, everything has changed in Solana in this downturn period. Fundamentally, 8 ETFs have opened up. 2 out of 8 are the second and third biggest spot Bitcoin ETFs in the world. So this is the perfect drawdown.
Okay.
But what would I know? What would I know? I'm just a guy wearing a Solana hoodie with my brother. Yeah, I don't know shit. I don't have any Solana HMRC. I'm broke. Thank you very much.
Yeah, HMRC has entered the chat.
Ninja's got no money.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hey, can I borrow
All right,
$5?
nice one, my bro.
All right. See you in a bit, guys.
In a bit.
Love.
In a bit.
Appreciate you, bro.
In a bit, Craig.